Alright, so in this video I'm going to be showing you something that took me quite a bit of time to figure out, and that is how to drill a hole through any mesh in your environment. And I always imagined this was going to be really simple, and normally people say, hey, it's really simple, but you know, that's because you already know the secret. And it actually took me quite a while to figure this out, and every video tutorial that I got my hands on was explaining things a certain way, and I just couldn't get the same results. I don't know if it's because there was different versions of the software or what, but I almost broke down and had to go through the whole switch over to Blender stuff. And that wasn't really an option for me. I need these things to be super simple. So here's the secret. Apparently in Unreal Engine 5 there is a plugin that allows a modeling mode to be enabled. And first things first, let's go ahead and get that installed or activated, because it's already there. We're going to look for the modeling keyword, and there's a few modeling tools here. We only really need this one, and we're going to go ahead and select restart and actually restart the engine. So here we go. The program has restarted, and I'm going to show you just a quick idea behind it. So I have this pillar here, for example. Let me turn off that smoke machine. Okay, so I got this pillar, so I'm going to select that real quick so you can see where it is. But as I mentioned earlier, in the upper left hand corner you're going to see your modes, and now that we activated the plugin, you see the modeling mode, which has a ton of options that weren't available before. Now the only thing I'm concerned with at this time is the ability to drill a hole through a mesh. This is very useful for basically creating things like windows and doors and such, and for whatever reason all those video tutorials that I saw earlier, they just weren't working for me. This however works perfectly fine. So I'm going to select the cylinder option for this wall, and I'm going to go ahead and place this cylinder. Notice how it just kind of snaps to whatever surface you're hovering your mouse around. So I'm just going to put it right there. And there's also options for your little brush, you know, however you want to do it. If you want to have, actually, if you want to do like a material from the start, if you want to adjust the radius, the height, you can do all sorts of property manipulation before you set down your items. I'm not going to worry about that. I am going to hit this complete button at the bottom of the screen here, which makes that a mesh within my environment. Now I'm going to take this and just kind of run it right through my original mesh that I want to make a hole through, and I'm going to select it. By having that selected first, I can now press the control key on my keyboard and select that cylinder. Boom. So now I have two objects selected, and you can see that many of the options became disabled. Under the poly model section of this panel, you're going to see two items that are related to cutting. First of all, here is the mesh boolean tool. We're going to go ahead and click on that, and bam, we have a hole in a wall. No need to export to Blender and spend countless hours re-importing everything and reattaching it to its original textures and materials and all that jazz. So quick and easy. Click that accept button, boom, and it becomes permanent. Now of course you will have to go in here now and drop a new material to kind of make up for, you know, that hole that didn't have material before. So now you just gotta drag and drop yourself a new material in there to fill in that missing material. So let me try this one more time. Here is a box. I'm going to put it right there. And I'm going to hit enter to, or click on that complete button, but if you hit enter, it also becomes enabled. We're going to put it right in the middle. Now we're going to select our original item that we want to cut. Control select. Now here's the other thing. I'm going to go ahead and do the Boolean option. Boom. But before I click accept, I can manipulate the property. So for example, the opacity. So in case that is supposed to be like a windshield or something, and you needed to have some kind of transparency, you can make it transparent. Like think of tinted windows on a car. Let's see here. I'm gonna make it completely transparent. Let's see what else we can play around with. Gizmo, if you want to be able to see that, because you're able to control that box, you know, like if I want to do that. And now basically what this is doing is, I'm gonna go ahead and hit accept. Now it's not actually cutting up your original mesh. Your original mesh is still intact, but as you can see, what it did when I drilled a hole in there, it created a new mesh, and it's called Boolean whatever number is the latest iteration of what you have, and it replaced it with the new version. So your original mesh is still in there, still intact, but it went through the process of basically switching out the mesh for the new one. So you can actually come in here and just call this new pillars or whatever, because it technically is a completely new mesh that now has holes on it, and you'll be able to use that in your game. Now the reason I was spending so much time trying to figure this out was because some of the items that I've purchased lately have been designed in a way where there are self-enclosed. They have no openings that allow me to add extensions like hallways and things of that nature. And in the next video, I'm going to show you another obstacle that I ran into while drilling a hole in a wall. And for whatever reason, the operation wasn't working. But that was because, and it's something that you're gonna have to keep an eye on, if for whatever reason this did not work for you, check and make sure that you are in fact applying the operation to a static mesh or any kind of mesh. If it is a blueprint, it's not going to work. So we're going to take a look at how to do the same operation on an object that's a blueprint rather than a mesh, and get around it that way in the next video. So stay tuned and enjoy.